I came here in the fall of 1964, right out of high school. I was 17 years old and didn't know anybody here on campus except one guy that had graduated with me. And we were both kind of floundering around. We found the military science department. We knew that we wanted to be involved in ROTC, and when we got involved in ROTC, we found an organization here on campus called Pershing Rifles. It was the equivalent of a military fraternity, and probably foolishly we pledged that organization our first semester here, and when we should have been concentrating on our classwork. But the friends that we made in that Pershing Rifle Company are still dear friends to this day, and that's been 51 years. There were 7 of us that pledged together and stayed together in school the whole time, and we billed ourselves as the Magnificent Seven. We had kind of a high opinion of ourselves, but that organization and that group of people is what kept me going and kept me in school and created some lifelong memories. I think my time here at Western, two people on the campus profoundly influenced the way I conducted my career. The first was Dr. Jack Thacker, who I had for European history, and from him I learned not only some European history, but I understood or was taught the meaning of standards, and if you didn't meet the standards, then you weren't going to make the grade. And Jack Thacker taught me that lesson the hard way, and I ended up taking his European history course the second time the next semester. But I took it a little more seriously that time, and to this day I consider Jack Thacker to be a very good friend. And the second one was an NCO in the ROTC department, Sergeant First Class Wade C. Lovett. He was a Vietnam veteran and spent time in Special Forces, and he wasn't the type to tell war stories, but he taught me practical things about how to take care of soldiers, and that soldiers must always come first, and your mission must come first. And he taught me how to separate the two and be sure that I took care of both. And the experiences with Dr. Thacker and the experiences with Sergeant Lovett colored the way that I served as an Army officer for 30 years, and I like to think that I did take care of the mission, and I took care of my troops. So, I'm forever indebted to both of those guys. I did it to honor one of my best friends here at Western, Charlie Thomas. He was an artillery captain. He and I served in Vietnam at the same time in different units, but Charlie was killed in action on the 8th day of April 1971. And for a long time, I struggled with, what can I do to keep his memory alive? And, immediately it did the things that you do. Got a rubbing off the wall in D.C. of his name and gave it to his parents. Collected all of his awards and decorations and had those framed and presented those to his parents. And that just didn't seem to be enough. So after dealing with that for probably 15 or 20 years, finally it dawned on me that if I created a scholarship, then that would serve two purposes. It would keep his name alive, and secondly, it would benefit some deserving student here at Western. So I opened a bank account. We started collecting literally nickels and dimes from people that knew Charlie and even from people that didn't know him. And after a couple of years, we got to the magic figure that would work to endow a scholarship, and we've kept that going. And as long as I'm alive, that scholarship will continue to exist and even when I'm gone, I've made provisions in my estate that a portion of it will go to fund that scholarship. I feel like Western gave me a whole lot, and it's now time that and since I'm in a position that I can give back, I need to do that. And when I see money from Charlie Thomas's scholarship going to deserving young cadets in the Military Science Department, it's just a good feeling. As they say, it's one of those warm and fuzzies.